Have we got a solution? What do we read into what we saw over the weekend?
As I said on Saturday night, it's a long-term solution. You've got to have long-term development. The game has got to invest in its future, which it hasn't done. Many years ago, when we got rid of the National Youth Comp and decided that we weren't going to invest in our future, I predicted what would be happening today. There just aren't enough NRL quality players to go around. People will blame COVID and the lack of football during that time. I think COVID exposed the problem. It didn't cause the problem. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the investment and participation levels of our game, development levels of our game, and the NRL clubs need to be the major instigators and drivers of that development.
You know, what scares me, Gus, is that all of a sudden we've got another team coming in the comp. I think they look average on paper as it is, and we're seeing games like this, results like this. I don't think it's the right time to be doing it. And I think the standards just of player isn't there.
And that's why I've sort of criticised not their inclusion in the competition, but the process by which we expanded the competition. You know, as it turns out next season, Redcliffe will have 30 new players and everyone else will have less. We haven't created any more NRL players. It's just that we're going to, share a few that they can play with next year. And they'll be competitive in this competition. It's not hard to be competitive with the bottom 8 sides in this comp. Right? You've only got to turn up and play hard, and you'll probably win as many as you lose against those sides. But the top 8 sides are so much better. And it's only going to exacerbate itself, because if you are a highly credentialed or quality young player and your player manager and your parents want you to go to a club where they think your development is going to be strong, where are they going to go? And if you are a marquee player coming off contract and you're thinking about changing clubs to earn more money or for whatever reason, or because you want to win premierships, which clubs are you going to go to? Right? You're not going to go to the bottom clubs, you're going to go to the top clubs. And that's why it will keep building upon itself until such times as everyone takes an active part in their own survival. Every club has a responsibility to develop, and there should be a blueprint for it from everyone, and the game needs to invest in it. We need to spend a lot of money and a lot of time investing in our future. It's as simple as that.
And I don't know where we find, in years to come, they want an 18th team to come in pretty soon also, so I think that's going to be a big danger. But I agree with Gus on the development side of things. I think the hard thing is for the back end of the season, we've got to try and keep these players motivated somehow. Now, look, a relegation system for me would be ideal, but it's not possible. It's not possible in this country. We don't have enough players, we don't have enough teams. It's totally out of the question. In theory, I think it's a good thing, but it's just impossible for it to happen. But we need to somehow find a way to keep these players and teams motivated so we're not getting scores like this the last 3 rounds of the competition.
Isn't the fact that they're professional footballers playing for money in the biggest competition in the world, isn't that motivation enough?
Absolutely,
to show pride in their performance?
100%.
Kids today aren't like this. Kids change mobile phone plans a week later if they don't like what the mobile... That no one sticks to anything. They can't stick to a task. And as the season wears on, it's kind of like, well, it's okay, we're out of the running.
Gus, what's the consequence? You got the West Tigers, who can't wait to go to Bali in 3 weeks' time. They're still earning $500,000 next year. What's the consequence for them? This is the problem. I 100% agree with you. As professional athletes and as rugby league players, you've got to have pride in your own performance and just turn up and put in. You've got blokes earning $50,000 a year, turn up to paying their money to watch you play. They've got every right to say what they want to say to you, to a certain level. But, I mean, I agree with you on that point. But I don't think there's any consequence for them not to play well. That's what worries me.
You've got the race for the 8. Teams to make the 8, once they know they're out of it, you almost want a competition within that bottom 8 there, don't you, to be able to keep them
But how you do that, I don't know. Because there's
shouldn't be necessary.
I agree with us. It shouldn't be necessary. But
is the season too long, Gal?
No, I don't think it's too long at all. I personally don't think it's too long. I think the way it is good. Look, I honestly think we got too many teams. I don't like a 17 team coming in the competition. I think we should go backwards. I think we should go maybe 14, maybe 12 even.
Who do you get rid of, Gal? It's so hard.
Exactly, it's too hard. But it is hard for it to happen. And how you do it, I'm not too sure. But look, I just think that I don't think the competition's too long, no. I don't think it's too long, and I just think you've got to keep these guys motivated for the last 3 rounds of competition, because there's no consequence to them not being motivated.
Gal,
that's what worries me.
You played at the top level for a long time. The players give up?
I think subconsciously they do, yeah. Subconsciously they don't. No one goes out there and intentionally misses a tackle or drops the ball on purpose. No one does that. But when the game gets a little bit too hard in the 70th minute, when it's 10-all and you can't make the 8, and you've got to run, chase downfield, or chase a kick really hard, or pressure someone, you don't do it. You just don't do it.
It's not the individual. They will all say they think they're trying. But what happens is the team breaks down. They all get isolated. They start working on their own. It's every man for himself.
Was that Saturday night?
And they lead well, there was a lot of teams this weekend. There was a lot of teams. They lost their togetherness and they lost their resolve and fight for a common cause and what is it we're actually playing for. Young people today just can't seem to self-motivate themselves under those circumstances. I disagree with Gal. I think the competition is too long. I think the competition's 5 weeks too long. I think 20 rounds is plenty to find out who are the best 8 teams in the competition to go to the finals. And you could expand the competition by having a bigger international and representative part of the middle part of the season where everyone can represent Pacific Island nations and New Zealand and other nationalities and all that sort of thing and give the competition a little bit of a mini break. We don't need 25 rounds. Our players can't do it. Look at what they're producing now. They just can't go that long. They're not ready for it. It's as simple as that.